Hey everybody, welcome back to my brick house kitchen. If you're new here, my name is Heather, and today we're gonna have a little bit of fun in the kitchen. We're gonna be making Christmas cookies together. Now the first recipe we're gonna be making is an orange spice Christmas cookie, and I've been working on this recipe for the past couple days, and I think I have it down now. So we're gonna be making a batch to bring to a Christmas party that's coming up this week. And I also wanna make some peanut butter truffles, buckeyes, whatever you wanna call them. And I'm going to take out the refined sugars and replace it with coconut sugar. So without further ado, let's get started and see how many of these cookies we can get done. Let's go. So for both my recipes today, I'm going to be using powdered coconut sugar. So I'm just going to take this coconut sugar that we got from Walmart, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in my Vitamix. That way I can powder it up. And if I have any left over, I'll just put it in a jar. And that should be good. See how it's just not quite as coarse as it was before. Okay, so now I have my 2 sticks of butter already in my KitchenAid here. And now I need, let's see, now I need 1 cup of coconut sugar in here. All right, so now I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour, and this just helps with the texture of the cookies. Okay, so we're going to cream that all together after I plug it in. Ooh. All right, so this still needs to cream a little bit more, but I'm going to add some more things into it. I'm going to add in, I have this Chinese 5-spice that I had picked up at Costco. And Chinese 5-spice is just cinnamon, anise, fennel, black pepper, and cloves. So if you don't have the 5-spice mix, you could use any kind of a mixture of those spices. So I have a tablespoon of that going in. And then I need a pinch of salt. And that's it. Well, no, I'm also going to put in the orange zest right now. So I'm going to do the zest of 1 large orange, and that should be plenty to give it the good orange flavor. If the zest of your orange isn't that potent, isn't that orangey, you could always add more zest, but these oranges I found, the zest of 1 orange is plenty for this recipe. And just make sure you keep rotating your orange, because you don't, once it gets down to that white part, you don't want to get that because that's bitter. So you just want this actual orange part here. And then you just want to make sure you get all of that good orange zest out of there. And you can see we got almost all of that shiny orange part off, and we're just down to the white. All right, so we're gonna put it back on and let it keep creaming, and I'm gonna go get an egg to toss in here. All right, so this recipe just needs 1 egg. Room temperature is best. And it's also best if you crack it into another bowl first in case you happen to get a rotten egg, but I never do that. Okay, now I'm gonna put in the vanilla. We make our own vanilla, so we just get a bottle of vodka and then buy the beans from Costco. And I forget how many beans are in here. Ethan actually made this for me. But we figured out the cost difference, and it is much more cost effective to make it yourself. So anyway, I'm gonna put in about a tablespoon of our vanilla extract. You don't need a tablespoon, but I always say the more vanilla, the better. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm gonna add in the flour now. I start with about 2.5 cups of flour and then see how it looks. It usually takes about 3. But always start with a little bit less and see how it's looking. There's 2 cups of flour. We'll mix that in. And you also need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm going to put that in now. I know I didn't sift my baking powder with my flour, so if you're a diehard baker, don't come for me. I never do that, and it always turns out fine. So it is what it is. If you want to sift it together with your flour, go ahead. I'm going to add 2 more half cups here, so another cup of flour. And I'm going to put in 1 last half cup to make it 2.5 cups of flour. And I'm going to save the last half cup for when I'm rolling them out. Yeah, that looks good. So I like to roll these out on parchment. I just feel like it makes it a little bit easier, makes it easier to clean up and easier to manage so it doesn't get too sticky. Also, I bake these on parchment. So I'm gonna get a tray ready with parchment paper on for them to bake. And also you wanna set your oven to 400. Okay, I have my half cup of flour here that we didn't use originally. And we're gonna see how this dough feels. It looks like it's a little bit sticky. It will probably need that extra half cup of flour to bring it up to 3 cups. But like I said, I don't like putting that in until I make sure it absolutely needs it.
I'm walking around feeling free, thinking about what's happened to me from July up till now. Don't know where, don't know how. Lately I've come to realize that I can see it in your eyes, so it's true. I'm so glad you feel it too. Nothing to hide, falling in love. Started something, this thing that we got grew stronger. Each day we're together, on the way, oh, we're falling in love. Christmas time's got the best of me. Then it starts to snow in our heart. We both know that we're falling in love. To me, it's perfectly clear we're falling in love. It's true this part of the year, something in store for us. We're falling in love. We're falling in love. No, it's the time of the year when something's in store for us. 'Cause we're falling in love. That's right.
Okay, so I just pulled these out of the oven, and this is what you want them to look like. You don't want to over bake them because you want them to be nice and soft. So here is what they look like. And I'm just gonna let them sit on the tray for about maybe 2 more minutes, and then I'll put them on a cooling rack. Oh, and I baked these for 12 minutes at 400 degrees. That little guy got curled a little bit. He was up against the edge. All right, I want to show you what the bottom should look like. Check out that bottom. It is not burned. It is just barely browning, and that's perfect. And here's what they look like inside. And I'm gonna eat it. Those are perfect. I actually think these are my new favorite Christmas cookie. Now we could just leave these as they were. If you do powdered sugar, you could put some powdered sugar on them. You could frost them. I'm actually going to melt some white chocolate baking wafers, and we're just going to give them a little white chocolate drizzle. So this is my makeshift double boiler. I have some water going in here. We're going to boil that, and then I'm going to put a mason jar in here with our white chocolate chips so that they can melt. And these are the white chocolate chips we get. We just get them at Walmart. They're Bake Believe, and these are sweetened with stevia instead of sugar. So I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put a tiny bit of coconut oil in there just to help the chocolate chips melt and get to be a good consistency. I'm not actually going to measure this. I'm just going to put in about, I don't know what that would be, maybe a half a tablespoon. And then this is what our chocolate chips look like. They're actually wafers. I'm gonna throw those in. I don't need too many. I'm just gonna do a drizzle on top. So, I don't know, maybe that's gonna be like a quarter of a cup. All right, that looks pretty good. If you can see that. That's a nice consistency, nice and drippy, so we can use that to decorate our cookies. My cooling rack here to decorate the cookies, and I don't want the white chocolate to get all over my countertop. So all I'm gonna do for these, it's not gonna be anything super fancy. I'm just going to drizzle them. Like that. We're gonna start our peanut butter balls now. I have a second bowl for my KitchenAid, which is a wonderful thing to have. If you don't have 2 bowls for your KitchenAid, that's a good thing to ask for Christmas. I actually could probably use 3 bowls and actually use them all. My husband got me the glass bowl for my KitchenAid, I think the first year we were married, and I use both of them probably every day because we do all of our baking and cooking from scratch. So I just use them all the time. Anyway, I'm gonna do the peanut butter balls now, and I have a recipe for this. I will put it down below in the description box, but also it's kind of not a recipe because you kind of eyeball stuff and just see how the texture is turning out. So I'm gonna start with a stick of butter, and you wanna make sure that this is softened butter. So I have 1 stick of softened salted butter. I always bake with salted butter and cook with salted butter. I know a lot of people don't, but I just prefer salted butter. So 1 stick of salted butter. Okay, I'm gonna do about a cup of peanut butter right now. I just kind of eyeball it, but we use the organic creamy peanut butter from Kirkland. It could be any peanut butter. This is just what we prefer. It's truly only peanuts and salt, and that's why I like it. So again, about a cup. Maybe a little bit more than a cup. I'd say a cup to a cup and a half of peanut butter. Splash of vanilla. Not too much, just a little tiny bit. And I'm gonna cream this before I add the sugar. And again, I need to plug it in. Okay, so that looks nice and creamed. I'm gonna add in now my cup of powdered coconut sugar. You could use maple sugar. If you wanted to make this keto, you could probably use like a monk fruit, anything like that. I just like to use coconut sugar. So I'm gonna put that in there, and then I'm gonna do a half a cup of tapioca flour. Again, I'm not using exact measurements. I almost never use a real measuring cup. I generally just use a teacup. Okay, so the only way you're gonna know whether or not this is good is you just need to take a little and see if it's like a soft Play-Doh. You need to be able to roll it into a ball. And then also you want it to taste good. So taste it and make sure you like it. That tastes perfect. Feels perfect. Okay, so we just need to get these on a tray and into the freezer. So I'm going to just use a glass baking dish, and we're going to use our trusty parchment paper again. The cheapest place to get it, Costco. We buy a lot of stuff at Costco. I did add just a little bit more tapioca flour to this. When I tried it again, it was just a little bit sticky. I thought it needed a little more. So we did that. And I just have a cookie scoop. I'm going to use this so I get pretty even scoops. You're just going to scoop it out. Use your clean hands. Roll it. Actually, I think that's kind of large. I don't like that size. I'm very discombobulated today. All right. Instead of doing the cookie scoop, I'm going to do a half a cookie scoop size for each one. That looks better. You don't want them to be too big. They don't get as good then, in my opinion. So I'm going to use my cookie scoop and be difficult and have them all. Or you could just eyeball it and not use a scoop at all. Alrighty, so these are all done. We just need to pop them in the freezer. They'll probably be in there for a good half hour, maybe an hour. until they're really good and solid, because when we coat them in chocolate, we don't want them to lose their shape. So these are off to the freezer. Okay, I just have Baked Believe chocolate chips. These are the milk chocolate chips. Again, they're stevia sweetened. And I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before. I'm going to pour them into a wide mouth mason jar. And then I'm going to put a little bit of coconut oil. All right, a little bit of coconut oil. And then I'm just going to put this in a pot of boiling water or simmering water. These are nice and frozen solid, which is exactly what you want. So again, we just melted it until it was nice and runny, and I'm going to use that to coat my chocolate, or to coat my peanut butter balls. So I just left it in the boiling / simmering water until I could stir it up and it was nice and runny like this. And now I'm just going to dunk my peanut butter balls in here. And it's super easy. You just take the peanut butter ball, dunk it in, coat it. And I like to actually use a fork for this. I'm going to grab a fork. And that's it. And I'm going to do that for all of these.
The wonders of life got the prettiest side for everyone to enjoy. Standing up close by the Christmas tree, glimmering light, I am right where I wanna be. I will be home for a couple of days, wander around with you. You and me in the cold, thought it'd never be true. Wherever I go, I got you. Oh, I have stopped running, there is no way trying. You better loosen your belts. Drinking hot wine by the fire, don't care of anything else. It's Christmas, and some kind of love, my friend. I'll pray it will never end. Do you like to be here too? It's Christmas, and outside snow's glistening. It's just you and me tonight. I'll spend all this Christmas with you. Oh, it's such a charm, got you up in my arms. There's nobody at the door. You said I wish this will never be over. Darling, it's time for your present. Come over here. Now it is time to get out in the snow, lighting a light with you. Choirs will sing and the joy bells will ring.
Okay, I'm gonna pop these back in the freezer for maybe another 15 minutes just to harden them back up, and then they're done.
Then you know it's Christmas when the snow starts to fall. Then you know it's Christmas for the children above all. Then you know it's Christmas 'cause Santa's on his way. We stand under the mistletoe, and then it's Christmas Day. The joyful times we witness forever stays with us. Soon Rudolph hears his whistle and gathers all his friends.
Alright guys, well thanks for watching. We are all done for today. I have my cookies and candy all wrapped up and ready to go to our party. And I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you'll try out some of these recipes. I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.
Santa and his missus wraps the final gift. You know it's time